you all for coming here today. This is, in my mind, a very important step that we are taking here in St. Petersburg. And before I talk a little bit about what we're doing, I want to thank the people who are joining me here today. To my right, I have our Police Chief, Chief Decay, my Deputy Mayor, Dr. Kanika Tomlin, Council Member Carl Nurse, Mayor of Gulfport, Sam Henderson, Lisa Wheeler-Brown, Linda Osmondson from CASA, Lisa, I failed to mention, is Kona president. And Brother John Muhammad is also with us, who is Childs Park Neighborhood Association president. So I want to thank all of you for joining me here today. In St. Petersburg, our police department confiscates approximately one gun every day. And today, what I'm about to do is to sign a statement of principles for the mayors against illegal guns. This is an important step here in St. Petersburg because we need to change the culture that exists in this community. We need to change the culture regarding illegal guns and regarding gun violence. We want people to come to the city. We encourage people to come to the city. But if you're coming to this city with an illegal gun, if you're coming to the city to engage in gun violence, we don't want you. You're not welcome here. And I want to be very clear about that. And that's a message that's coming straight from the top all the way down to every employee within the city of St. Petersburg. Illegal guns and gun violence is not welcome in this community. And so we are joining 44 other cities around the state of Florida and cities all across the nation who have already signed on to these statement of principles. Also with me today is Linda Vaughn from Mothers Against Illegal Guns. And this is, of course, the Mayors Against Illegal Guns statement, and they have joined forces together also to stand up against illegal guns and gun violence. So I am proud to do this today, and this is a message that we are sending to this entire community. Gun violence is no longer tolerated here in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, this is the 89th Shrine Game. It's the longest running college all-star game in the nation. Represents Shriners Hospital for Children. We have 22 hospitals in the United States, one in Canada and one in Mexico City. To date, we've treated over 1 million kids at no cost to them. And we're really proud of what the Shriners have been able to accomplish. And this game kind of just highlights the fact that that's what they do, and it's more of a showcase for them. It's like I say, it's the longest running college all-star game, and we're just thrilled to have it in this area, and it's been supported very well.
Well, it's a very interesting concept. I was in league 30 years, 29 in personnel, and this is very important. In fact, the practices are more important than the game is, because you get to see repetitions, and you get to see more things than you do in the game, because in the game you got to switch it around and let everybody play and have a good time. But the guys are here to show off their skills, and especially some players who weren't really high-rated players get to show off against better competition, better athletes. And it's sort of a showcase for everybody. And hopefully, we always have enough players to play in the game. We've been very lucky this year in avoiding injuries and letting the guys practice and play and breaking the weather, and it's all been very good. It's a wonderful concept, and all-star games are very important for the young players.
Only so many players, from around the country are selected to play in this game. Myself being one of them is a huge opportunity, a huge honor.
Man, it's a real good feeling, man, to just come home and get a home crowd. Everybody that's seen you through high school come back and see you. It's a wonderful feeling. And I just want to send thanks to the Shrine for inviting me. And I enjoyed my experience, especially at the hospital, so that was real good. And I just appreciate the opportunity to come out and show what I can do.
Well, it's a great opportunity to coach this game, because you get players from all over the country. They're excited about the NFL being here and also about their possible future. And so they have great attitudes. They're working hard. We practice in pads twice, and so today will be the second day, and they're getting a look there. But the real reason is for the kids at the Shriners Hospital, and to be able to help those guys, these guys who are on the field, that gives them an opportunity to start giving back to the community. And so that's good for all involved.
Well, it's really an exciting time for the school. My football team comes out and they get to actually see real Division I kids running around, really pros running around, because most of these kids will be drafted. But the school body comes out, the kids enjoy it, the teachers come out and watch what's going on. Our administration is really behind it, otherwise we wouldn't have this here. Mr. Bennett has done a really nice job of making sure we get this, along with Jim Nieder here in town, making sure we get this event here. And it's just another exciting thing for football, and to have something like this, a nationwide thing like this, is really fun.
I tell you, we've been very, very pleased with the move to St. Petersburg. The support of the community has been tremendous. We're going to extend it after that. We got another year already under contract. We're going to extend it for 2 more after that, and we're looking forward to keeping it here for a long time.
Fezzi's been our mascot for the East-West Shrine game. It's in town for the week. The players are here practicing over at Shorecrest and St. Pete High. They'll be playing the game at Tropicana Field Saturday at 4 o'clock before NFL Network, about 20,000 fans, and all of the NFL scouts to try to earn spots for next year. Fezzi is the mascot for Shriners Hospitals for Children, and so he's part of the Love to the Rescue campaign nationally.
On behalf of the citizens of the great city of St. Petersburg, Fezzi, we are proud to have you here in the office today. We are very thankful for your efforts at helping kids all around this country. He's proudly wearing the pin, the city of St. Petersburg, and we'll shake Fezzi's hand.
Fantastic.
Aside from the fact that you're going to see some really talented athletes who are out there performing, it's an opportunity to continue to give to a cause that is so worthwhile and so necessary and does so much good.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has 22 facilities worldwide that provide orthopedic, burn, cleft palate surgeries for children, regardless of the family's ability to pay. And to date, they've treated more than 1 million patients at no cost.
It's wonderful to have our friends in the media join us for a historic occasion. We are opening our exhibit, Warhol, Art, Fame, Mortality. And this blockbuster show is our first great show other than Dali since we opened 3 years ago. And since then, we have experienced and welcomed to this museum and this community 1 million visitors in the last 3 years. This exhibit is totally appropriate to the legacy of Dali. Andy Warhol, who shared with Dali the mantle of the celebrity who was ever present in the public eye and who leveraged that fame to create a new aesthetic for art. They both influenced generations to come, and they were both radical. If Dali was radical in the way he took his subject, which was the changeable human self, that mutable psychological creature, and moved it through various media, Warhol was radical in that he took the media itself as his subject. So glossy magazines, catalogs of American consumer materials became his subject and brought us into a new intimacy with our own world. That legacy that Dali created, he handed on to Warhol. So this show is a perfect successor to that. We're honored today to have Mayor Kriseman here present with us. This is a wonderful time for St. Petersburg. The arts and culture are flourishing. Perhaps you saw the New York Times list of 52 places on earth to visit, just a handful of American cities. St. Petersburg was there among them. We're proud to be part of that, and we look forward to doing more in the future to bring the world attention to St. Petersburg, its arts, cultural, beautiful natural setting, the museums, food, and music that make this such a dynamic cultural place. And I think with Mayor Kriseman's help, St. Petersburg is in for a golden hour. Mr. Mayor, we have for you some wonderful tissue and the new Warhol catalog. Wonderful. And for your office and the public that comes to see you, a catalog of the Dali Museum collection. And not less, a t-shirt of the exhibition. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hank, and you kind of stole my thunder a little bit about the Times article, but what he didn't say and what he didn't tell you is one of the large reasons why we have been recognized as a place to visit is because of this museum and this wonderful exhibit that we have here, and we're blessed to have here right in St. Petersburg. Let me first also say a belated happy third birthday. This is the third year that we have been in this glorious structure here with the Dali Museum. So it's great to be able to be here on this occasion and also mention this third birthday. This is a remarkable collection of work that you have an opportunity to see today and that this community has an opportunity to experience. Over 150 pieces in this collection. It's one of the largest Warhol collections in the South. And you know, there was a relationship that's worth noting between Warhol and Dali. They had met before. Warhol learned a lot from Dali about public visibility and how he, like Dali, could influence mass culture. Also, what you'll find when you go inside this exhibit is it's very interactive. There is a simulated Warhol screen test that visitors can participate in. So it's I'm not going to say anything more because I know that you all want to have a chance to get in to see it, but I'm so thankful to Hank and his staff for bringing this fantastic exhibit here, for having this wonderful museum here, and please enjoy the experience of Andy Warhol. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, will you honor us by cutting the ribbon for the exhibit? Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome the press to join Dr. Jeffett and me on a walkthrough of the exhibit, the first time it's been seen. You will see this is a work on paper, and it's made by screen printing. And for me, that's one of the most interesting things about Warhol. Is he took printmaking technique. And printmaking is usually associated with mass culture, with getting the word out, and he used it to create his high art. And it's also it's based in photography, which was the medium that he embraced so closely in making his images. But this is why I think Warhol has been so embraced by art historians, because it fits so closely with the great themes of art, which are the transitory nature of art and life. His works can be considered memento mori in a sense. They're casual, informal life, and yet we know that it is so fleeting and gone in a moment. And Warhol's life had that tragic sense. He was first, one of a young artist shot him and he nearly died. A few years later he was having a routine operation. Was it gallbladder or something?
Yeah, something on gallbladder, yeah.
Died in surgery at 58. And his life indeed demonstrated that. So when we get to the Jackie portraits, you know, that beautiful celebrity, that tragic icon of American life, Jackie Kennedy. This work, coming out of the 60s, is following on the heels of the dramatic, passionate, autographic work of the abstract expressionists, where their personality is firmly imparted and the energy of the making of the art even becomes the subject. These works have a kind of wan distance. In fact, this was Warhol's intent. He wanted to remove that personality from the making of the art and register the subject in a new way, in the way we see personalities in magazines. You're facing, you know, this famous image of Warhol, the self-portrait with the shock wig. This one was done the year before he died, I think. Is that correct? Right. So one has to keep that in mind looking at that image. He seems to be looking out into some self-realization, and certainly something to do with the transitory nature of his fame and his life. It's a beautifully simple image. It's a screen print. He's taken a photo and then he's made a silk screen, and then he's simply screened black acrylic over that deep orangish red background. He set the stage for the way color would be used, the way print would be used, and photography would be used for generations. And it is not only what artists do today, but it's the way we approach media in general. Architecture, design, all were influenced by Warhol's approach, the use of big screen photographic images as a way of delivering a sense of environment and attitude. And in this room we see references to contemporary artists, Joseph Beuys. Beuys here in this turquoise screen print and this black on black screen painting. A reference to Picasso, Uccello, this De Chirico painting in fours, where he's derived an image from De Chirico and then colorized it in the manner of Dali, in the manner of Warhol, in a way connecting himself to the great traditions of modernism and then classical painting with these artists. And an artist needs to stay fresh, and an artist on the edge needs to stay edgy. So these works here, these oxidation paintings, were performance pieces in which Warhol urinated on copper material that then oxidized to create those colors, showing that a work of art is what an artist makes, not necessarily conforming to any other standards. Art is what artists do. These works are small, but they're particularly powerful. And you see Warhol here commenting in a kind of geopolitical way. He has art covering the globe, and it's an interesting reference to a painting in our collection, Geopoliticus Child, in which you see the emerging man coming out of the old world. Here you see art becoming a global phenomenon. This is very predictive of what happened, and if you look at Warhol auction prices and the distribution of their purchase, you know, tens of millions of dollars are going into Warhol works, and they're being bought all around the globe, in Russia, the Middle East, Asia as well. And then these famous Heinz 57 boxes, and William, we wanted to bring these into people's consideration because one of the questions that's asked and needs to be answered again and again is, how is something that is an exact replica of something that is not art itself art? And I know you have a well-considered answer to that.
Well, yeah, first of all, they were shown in, I think, '64 at the Stable Gallery, also with another series very similar of Brillo boxes. And they caused a lot of perplexity because of the question you just answered. Including the owner of the gallery was not very happy with them, but in fact, the perplexity and kind of interest that was generated by them had a lot to do with his eventual migration to Castelli, which I think was something that helped make his career. When they were shown, they were seen by Arthur Dante, who was professor of philosophy at Columbia University, and he became very intrigued by them, and he felt that question was actually most acutely asked by these particular works more than any other artist at the time, and by simply drawing into question, the status of the work of art, it basically was suggesting that the only way that you could understand that as a work of art was because there was a kind of philosophical question behind it, that you had shifted into theory away from the materiality of the work of art, and that reflection, in order to understand that as a work of art, you had to think about, have a theory of it, basically. And that Warhol made this shift in a way, according to Danto, in advance of other artists. Later, I think that's become a kind of more pervasive problem in contemporary art.
These there are 10 films that rotate through here. You see one obviously identified, The Kiss, has various partners kissing. And one of the qualities of Warhol's films that is immediately recognizable is the sense that there's not a dramatic moment in them. In the same way that he let the medium, the media dictate the subject. Magazine covers, newspaper photos, accidents become his subject. He lets the medium of film dictate his formal approach to it. Warhol's distance from his art making, that is, that it was something that he could just direct someone else to do for him. He did operate his own camera, but he would turn the camera on the subject, for instance, here, and walk away. And the subject of the film becomes then the person's relation to being filmed. No external story, no narrative, no plot, just the rawness of the medium and how it looks at someone and how someone looks into the camera. We thought this was so interesting that we've set up for our visitors a recreation of Warhol's own screen test apparatus. And this is a Bolex camera from the 1960s, the kind that Warhol used. Silent film, no sound, and he would turn on a light. So we'll invite our visitors to sit and subject themselves to a screen test. Among the subjects of Dali's screen test was Salvador Dali. And it's very interesting to see his reaction to it because these go on for 3 minutes. And it's very difficult to encounter a lens looking at you for 3 minutes because you get uncomfortable and you see that discomfort. Or some people become jovial, or others become dramatic. Some people become sad. It's an interesting mirror, the camera being a mirror of the self in our era. So this is a 21st century adaptation of what Warhol did with 16 millimeter film. It films our visitor. The visitor enters name and email address. The camera then begins to run. There's the sense of the sound that a 16 millimeter Bolex film made. 3 minutes was the length of the spool and also the capacity of the camera, which was totally mechanical, had no electrical activity. You wound it up and it would go for 3 minutes. And when the 3 minutes is over, that film will be uploaded to our website and then automatically sent to the visitor's email address. From that point, they can post it to a social media site or download it or copy it for their family records. But we think this will be really fun and something that Warhol himself would have really enjoyed, the sense of interactivity, the sense of all of you as subjects, all of you as capable of making art.